Hey, what's up, Skabalker with Imagination Creation Films, and today we're talking about this. No, not the camera, Nikon and RED, and whoo, we've got LUTs and LUTs to talk about. So before we get started, a little housekeeping. This place is a complete and total mess. I better do something about that. So Nikon has worked with RED, they own them, and they have now ported over 4 Creative LUTs and 1 Technical LUT from the RED Creative LUT series for IPP2. 4 of the most popular that we use. It's achromic, film bias, bleach bypass, and film bias offset. And they now take NRAW, and you can add those 4 LUTs. Or you could use their new Technical LUT, which will take the NRAW and make it look very, very close to a RED. So matching them, well, it's kind of easy now. So what I did was I took the V-Raptor Super 35, I took Komodo X here, I took the Z8, and I put them on this giant Franken-rig that, I like to build Franken-rigs, and we took it out, and we filmed my dog because he's Rex, he's the super dog. We also filmed the sky, and we filmed some trees. We filmed a couple of different scenes to see how well these cameras can match to each other. And it's remarkably easy. So the best way to do that is to jump into Resolve and just kind of walk you through with my wonderful voice, hopefully keeping you excited and happy about what's happening as we see the 4 Creative LUTs and 1 Technical. It's late, but you know what's not late? I don't even have a joke for that. Let's just go to the DaVinci. So we're starting off with the Nikon Technical LUT, and this is basically taking NRAW and converting it to IPP2 medium contrast, medium roll-off. And we'll see this scene 4 more times. Now we have achromic, and then it's a low contrast monochrome. Take a look and compare it to Komodo X and Super 35 V-Raptor. Surely V-Raptor has a little more dynamic range, and that's apparent, but it's extraordinary how close these actually get. Now, film bias is a little more warm colors and kind of a more satisfying contrast. It kind of feels like film. Again, look at how close the Z8 is to Komodo X and Super 35. Now, bleach bypass, it looks like it's drastically overexposed, but that's what bleach bypass looks like. And it kind of gives a shallow tones, it's very high contrast. Now we've got the film bias offset, which is kind of like, they call it nostalgic, but it's a older kind of feeling of film. And again, look at how close these are. Now we're going to switch to a different scene here and Technical LUT, and you can compare, look at the colors of Rex and also the leaves. You can see there's a slight difference in the saturation, but not a whole lot. The achromic, again, there's very little detail difference, or very few things that are different here. You can see on film bias, there's a little more saturation on the reds, but not much. And I haven't changed these. We just applied them. That's how close these actually are. Now the bleach bypass, these are not clipped. The highlights are all there on all 3 of these cameras. And it is, again, they're really close to each other. It's kind of amazing. And film offset, same kind of warm, vintage, and nostalgic feel that we have here. And a lot of videos that you may see will be showing what they look like on Nikon footage, and I wanted to show you what this does. It opens up the Z8 directly to the Komodo X, the Super 35 V-Raptor, the V-Raptor VistaVision. You can start using these cameras and intermix them relatively easily. Just using the Technical LUT alone will get you really close. And it's surprising. Notice how the clouds are still there. Again, these are not clipped. They look clipped, but they're not. The detail of the clouds, all the same. And all we're doing is converting NRAW into these Creative LUTs. Here's another little scene. Again, look at the detail in the clouds. Also, look at the color of the berries on the bush. It's still there. The Nikon Z8 is a little sharper. It's not that bad. I mean, it's 8K compared to Komodo X's 6K. The V-Raptor Super 35 is 8K as well. And again, look, the contrast is really close, really close. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say there. But this is what I said in the intro. This is the beginning. This is Nikon showing you that they are serious about RED. They're not pushing RED away. They're including RED into now Nikon and vice versa. And I think we're going to find some really cool stuff coming soon. Some things a little bit later, but it is a very positive thing that's happening here. Again, those clouds are not clipped on all of these cameras. Now, you can tell on the V-Raptor, there is more dynamic range, and it's pretty apparent in several of these. But Komodo X and Z8, they're about a stop apart. And you know what? Sometimes it's just really hard to tell about that stop. You know, it's you don't have to have every single stop sometimes. It's just what works for the scene that you're shooting, what works for your lighting, and, you know, control that. Get it where you need to be. All right, let's dive in and see how to use these LUTs in the correct way to best match RED cameras. So we have right here a Nikon clip. It's Nikon RAW, and you can see it's in Rec 2020 and Nikon N-Log. Now over here we have a giant node tree, and don't get too panicked here. I borrow most of it from Darren Moston on YouTube. He's a really good colorist, and I really like all the power that it gives here. But don't let it bother you. Let's start from what we're going to do at the beginning here, and that is over here we're going to do a color space transform, and we're going to go from Rec 2020 and N-Log, and we're going to take it to DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. Now the reason we want to do that is because it will give all of these other nodes here a lot more color information, a lot more range that we can do. And then we're going to need to convert it back. So at the end, we're going to add another color space transform, and we're going to go from DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate back to Rec 2020 and Nikon N-Log. Basically, you could ignore all of those previous nodes and just have a single node down here with the LUT. I want to show you here. Here's the LUT down here. This is the Rec 2020 to Rec 709 BT 1886, which is Rec 709. And you could just add that. Now, if you just use typical before, you would use this transform here, which would take NRAW and convert it to Rec 709. It's got a little more saturation, and it's a little bluer in the greens, in my opinion. But I do like the Technical LUT much better, because I think IPP2's color is a lot better place to work from. Now, you're not getting true IPP2 color here, so don't get me wrong. Now, on the Reds, the Technical LUT compares actually to a medium contrast and a medium roll-off on the RED IPP2 LUTs. We're adding in the LUT from the RED here, these are the standard IPP2 LUTs, and we're doing the medium contrast, medium roll-off. And it all matches really close. Now, on the Acrobic and the other LUTs on the creative side, they don't match the medium contrast, medium roll-off. they match the medium contrast soft roll-off. And I've played with these quite a bit, trying to figure out what they're doing and, well, why they're doing what they're doing. And I found that they kind of match the soft way more than the medium. And, well, it is what it is. So if you're trying to match them, just use the soft on the red, and it'll match up nicely to, well, these LUTs. So you can see here, I've got the IPP2 Creatives here, and we're choosing the achromic. And this is the V-Raptor Super 35. And then on the Nikon RAW, we're just going to apply the achromic LUT here. I have it down here in the Nikon Red that I stuck. And there it is. We've added. We're not putting the technical on anymore. And we're applying the achromic. Now, you don't need any of the previous nodes in there. That doesn't matter. But, you know, I like to have all that extra abilities. And that's how you get all these different LUTs to install and match. Now, it's interesting. The Komodo X is a little brighter than the other two. And I'm not really sure why. I haven't found that normally. I'm afraid I might have bumped the iris a little bit when there was a couple of oopsies that happened in this giant rig that I had built. But I pulled it down by 0.7 on the exposure, and they match, I mean, really, really close. These LUTs actually do a really nice job in matching. Now, other YouTubers and other people who have these LUTs probably will be showing you how, if you apply this LUT to Nikon footage, it'll look like a RED, and look how great the color science is and all that. That's one part. I wanted to take a different approach, and to me, Nikon is a really nice companion to RED, and vice versa. But what I wanted to show was you can take a Nikon, a Z8, Z9, Z6 Mark III, and a ZF and match them to REDs, which now all of a sudden a Z8 becomes a perfect B cam for, well, a near perfect B cam. I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, pretty close to a Komodo X or a V-Raptor. It's quite amazing how close you can get these cameras now. So that was the 4 Creative LUTs and the Technical LUT, showing you kind of how well they match. And really what this is it's showing that Nikon is serious about RED. They're bringing some of the great stuff from RED over to Nikon, and, well, vice versa. And there's a lot happening. There really is. And I know this is just LUTs, and people will be going, oh, cool, LUTs. Well, you're missing the point. This is what they can do quickly. There are lots of things happening that take time, and you need to be patient. But they wouldn't do this if RED was going away. They wouldn't do this if the Z8 was an old camera. Magically, it's not an old camera. It's an awesome camera. The Z6 Mark III, the ZF, the Z9, they're really powerful. They're really capable. So now you can take Nikon RAW and make it look very much like IPP2. It's a start, and I know it may not be exciting. It should be a little bit exciting to you, because the future really is bright with Nikon and RED. I keep saying it, people keep doubting it. I'm just trying to help you along your way, and maybe I need to clean up back here. But if you have any questions about how I worked them or how they're easily applied, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. I try to read and respond to all of those, and hopefully I answered them on the Resolve side, but you know, stuff happens. If you're looking for a Nikon Z8 or a Z9 or a Z6 Mark III or, I don't know, a ZF or a RED V-Raptor Super 35 or a RED Komodo X or any of these wonderful cameras, interesting, down below, affiliate links for B&H Photo, who is a great partner and really helps the channel, as you're about to find out, in tremendous and wonderful ways. But please feel free to use those affiliate links, or if you want to really stand out from the crowd, become a channel member like these cool kids. Yeah, you want to be part of the Cool Kids Club? Yeah, that's what you want to do. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions.